together in travel.
This podcast series is brought to you by Destination Canada, a land of breathtaking natural beauty, meaningful experiences, and warm, welcoming people. Canada is a place where every journey connects you more deeply to nature, culture, and community. Start your journey today at www.keepexploring.com.au.
Canada is a vast country. We have beautiful nature. Our wilderness and nature in general is just unmatched in many ways. And our cities are far apart. And it takes 5 days to get across the country. And it's 5 time zones. It's large. It's beautiful. But what the food tourism does is it connects people. Because when you take a meal and you get into the vibe of a restaurant, or you sit at a communal table, or you meet people, the food tourism is fundamentally a human activity. And I think it's that connecting that you will then get to appreciate that nature better. So I think food tourism does that. It's about the connecting of humans, community, and just the whole appreciation just becomes better understood.
Welcome to Into the Hearts of Canada, the podcast where we share the stories of extraordinary people transforming Canadian tourism. I'm your host, Matt Leedham, checking in from Byron Bay on Bundjalung Country, Australia's most easterly point. Our journey today takes us to Ottawa, in Ontario, Canada's capital, where flavours, cultures and stories come together in the historic ByWard Market, one of the country's oldest and most iconic markets, just steps from Parliament Hill. At its heart is Stefanie Siska, co-owner and president of C'est Bon Ottawa, the city's leading culinary experience company. An entrepreneur and foodie at heart, as well as a former chair of Ottawa Tourism, Stefanie has transformed C'est Bon into a hub for discovery and connection. Through her work, Stefanie shares how the story of food can open doors to culture and redefine what it means to explore a destination. Well, hello, Stefanie. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you on the podcast. And the first question is, where does this podcast find you today?
Oh, bonjour, Matt. Yeah, thank you for having me. And I am comfortably sitting in my home in the city of Ottawa, capital city of Canada, of course, and enjoying a nice leisurely night here tonight.
Beautiful. Now, just to give us a bit of a sense of Ottawa, if you close your eyes, what's the flavour, sound or feeling that most captures Ottawa for you?
Oh my goodness, that's a really great question. And I think I'm going to have you close your eyes too, because we're going to set the scene for this. Because when you visit Ottawa, depending on the time of year that you're coming to see us, it's a whole other mixed bag of experiences. So I'm going to give you the kind of the now, the in the moment Ottawa, but it's ever changing, which is so fantastic. But right now, we are just at the cusp of a season change. We're going from our summer to our fall, and the air is getting cooler. You know, we have hot summer days, but the fall brings in the cooler nights, and it changes from the brightness and the warmth of the sun to the brightness and the warmth of the changing leaves on the trees, on the maple trees in the horizon
beautiful.
And on the distance. So this time of year, just the glory of that seasonal change. You hear the honking of the Canadian geese as they're starting their descent into the southern kind of warmer climates for their winter kind of hibernation time. Harvest, its abundance of production from our farms in the area. So the smell of apple cider and canning of fruits and vegetables that are going on, and just glorious, produce all around, garlic braids hanging up in the market squares, apple picking and ground cherries and beets and tomatoes and all sorts of, beautiful, abundant harvests. So I think there's just so much bounty in this time of year in this area this region. So we're just so blessed. We really are.
That's a beautiful description. Wow. I wish I was there right now is all I can say. I'm already feeling hungry.
Yeah, it's going to get dangerous with us here today, for sure,
I
Matt.
think so. I'm going to absolutely need to have a very big meal after this conversation. Let's begin our journey today by touching on your personal story and literally your journey into food. You started out, you studied communications and film, you worked in marketing and architecture, I believe, and then shifted into entrepreneurship. What was it that led you to make food and hospitality your life's work?
My stomach. First of all, first and foremost.
For all the reasons you just said in your description of Ottawa.
That's right. That's right. You can tell that that food plays a big role in my life. But yeah, I love to eat. I think from a very young age, food has always been central to my sense of community, belonging. I'm from Northern Ontario, and we're surrounded by trees. The lumber industry is big there, but the winters can be long. But what warms your heart and what warms your belly is what we can get out of the short season of food production that we have, foraging, and just spending time with family. I'm from a musical background. In French Canadian, traditions are often large family gatherings and music involved. But I was always, even when I left Northern Ontario to come and establish myself more in the southern part of the province of Ontario, I was always going back to visit grandparents and family members and was welcomed with a bowl of soup or, welcomed with some sort of meal that just said, okay, you made it through threshold of the door, you're back. And that image had always, stayed with me as a comfort place to be. So the universe sends you in interesting places if you open yourself up to, to what it speaks to you with. And funnily enough, my last name is Siska. This is my Slovak immigrant heritage, and northern communities were francophone. But Shishka actually means pine cone or the fruit of a tree. And or a dumpling. So
okay.
I have now my path, my career path, following my family route origin, which I find kind of fascinating. Definitely fell into it, but happy to be here for sure.
Oh, well, that was absolutely written into the stars, wasn't it? Meant to be from day one. And I understand you bought into the business in, I think it was 2016, before even meeting your business partner, which seems like a bold leap, but then again, with everything you just said around your name, probably makes complete sense. What was it that gave you the courage to take that risk and dive right into a business like that, like C'est Bon?
Yeah, some people might even think it was a stupid move, but we definitely took the risk. My business partner and I, yes, we didn't know each other before we took over the C'est Bon business in 2016. I think what really emboldened us and gave us that courage to try our partnership and try to move forward was that we knew that what the offer of C'est Bon was, the culinary experiences, the bringing people together, the appreciation of the gift of food was just something that needed to continue. The founder of the company was looking to move on. She just wanted to shut down. And my business partner George and I had been working on either side of the company, doing some consulting. He's a chef by trade and was giving classes. I was doing some marketing, of course, as we've already established. We just didn't want to see it die. And we both came at it, from different angles, didn't know each other. But we had a good business plan in place. The model worked. There was a vision that we both had for where this business could be and could be brought to. Food will never go away. We eat 3 times a day at least, if we're fortunate.
Yes.
And just, teaching the appreciation of that and the appreciation of this activity that is, as mammals, as a species that we have to do, but
Mm.
bringing it to the art form and to life, and the appreciation behind it. It just seemed like it couldn't go away, and we both had
Mm.
that nagging feeling of there was something that others needed to also know more about it in our definition of what this terroir was, this region was, what we had to offer, in terms of our land, our learning, our techniques, everything that kind of wraps itself in a nice basket of goodness. So yeah, so we just said, let's give it a shot,
Yep.
and we did. And it's been more than 10 years now. So
Wow.
we've brought it to another place, another happy place.
Yeah, and you're based in the ByWard Market, which is in Ottawa. It's a very historic district, food stalls, restaurant and artisans. For our listeners who have never visited, can you paint a picture of the market and what happens on your tours and in your base there?
Yeah, for sure. So the ByWard Market is a central downtown neighborhood. It's not just like a market. It's actually a neighborhood. It's close walk from Parliament, the mouth of the Rideau Canal, or World UNESCO Heritage Site. It's an easy walk from many of the hotels in the area for visitors, and just for locals generally has always been the hub of kind of the commerce and meeting
Mm.
and just generally food. We have over like 600 businesses in the ByWard
Wow.
Market, and 350 are food related. So
Yeah, wow.
it's
Yep.
always been an epicenter of culture. But fun fact, we are called Ottawa. This is an Indigenous name from the Algonquin people that inhabited the unceded territories in our region. But Ottawa means to trade or to
Mm.
exchange. And I think it's so appropriate that the ByWard Market and that whole idea of exchange is kind of part of the vibe that you get when you visit ByWard. So, needless to say, on one of our food tours, it's a guided experience. We're giving you some history and cultural background and showing you where people love to eat in the
Yep.
neighborhood. It's very eclectic. But you're getting some good bites. You're getting a variety of sounds and smells, and there's music going on. There's activity programming, all sorts of things, and we weave you through all of these. It's breweries and cafes and restaurants and bakeries and food stalls and lunch counters, and
Yep.
just a great vibe that
Mm.
we just want to make you feel like you're part of the decor and part of the
Mm.
places that we like to go with locals, I
Yeah.
should say.
And can you give us, in terms of the sort of the range of, I guess, different offerings that you do on your tours, in terms of the kind of foods that you're going to end up tasting, can you give us a bit of a sample of that? What sort of different things might you be experiencing on your tour?
Yeah, we're a very diverse city and a very diverse country in general. So, you'll have different ethnic foods. We might have some Indian, we might have some Italian, we might have some Mexican and different
Mm.
influences, but you're eating a variety of foods that are going to equal up to a meal, so you're going to be like super full. But I think the best part about the experience, not only in the variety of foods that you're going to be consuming, is the stories behind it, and it
Mm.
it almost makes the food taste better.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, knowing where it's come from, as you say, and just getting that deeper dive, connecting with your fellow travelers on your tour as well, in terms of where they're from and their stories.
Absolutely. We're all travelers in many times of our lives, and in different points of our lives, and I think it's just interesting to gather
Mm.
stories from other people and
Mm.
how different people live different lives in different situations and scenarios, and you put it all together and it makes a nice mixed salad. Food metaphors are going to continue with me.
I love the food metaphors. Please continue. That's great. I'll sprinkle my own little secret sauce on that as well.
Love that. Love
Now,
that.
outside of your tours, you also run cooking classes there as well. One cooking class that particularly piqued my interest was your teen chef classes, which I just thought was a
Yeah.
wonderful idea. Having teens myself, I've got one in particular who loves his cooking. I just thought, wow, what a lovely thing to do. Can you share a bit more about that? And I guess your classes in general?
For sure. So our programming ranges from a 10-year-old up until like a 99-year-old. And 10 only being because they have to be a certain height to be able to reach the counters,
Yeah,
because
okay.
there's no dumbifying any
It,
experience. You're full on
yep.
knife skills, you're doing it all. But you're having relaxed, fun atmosphere. My business partner and our team of chefs are professional chefs. They're just engaged and focused and passionate on, again, this appreciation of food. So our
Mm,
teens that come into our program, we run summer camps. We have programming throughout the year in a, one-off class type of scenario every other week. And we see a lot of repeat customers, let's say, on our teen side, because there's some amazing talent in some of our younger folk, who are picking up knives and stirring, food in pots, and just you can see the appreciation that they have for it. So we're teaching them, French cuisine techniques. They're having fun building the recipes and learning, obviously, building on those skills. It's been so rewarding having kids come through our programming,
mm.
and then some have gone on to culinary school and now are teaching at C'est Bon.
Oh, how
So
fantastic.
it's just so beautiful to see. And just we just
Yeah.
want to inspire and spark. Everybody needs to learn to cook. You
Mm.
have to know how to cook. It's art, or
Yeah.
not focused on in our schooling systems as much as maybe a few decades ago, and it needs to come back. And
Mm.
so we're kind of happy to do that. But some of us didn't have all of that energy or time or even desire to cook when we were younger. So now we find ourselves in the adult years and
Yes.
would still like to learn some skills, would still like to go out and have fun around building a meal and sharing with friends and family and loved ones and meeting new people and just having fun with their food, but making it a pleasant but educative experience. So that's our programming in general for the rest of the older adult crowd as well. So it's hands-on experiences, it's tips and tricks, it's great food. You eat, what you make right there during
Mm.
your session, and you just get to share. So we're very fortunate to have those beautiful moments.
Yeah, so talking about the lost art, thinking about cooking as a skill for life, not just if you want to go into hospitality. AI is probably not going to cook you a great meal. It might give you the ingredients and the recipe, but it's not going to actually cook the meal for you.
That's right. We're
So
not there yet.
now, thinking about First Nations, Indigenous influence, particularly in Ottawa there, how does the business acknowledge or include Indigenous ingredients, voices or stories in the experiences that you offer?
Well, that's a great question. And it's super important to us. My business partner, George, and myself are very much make it a priority to recognize and acknowledge, the enduring presence of our First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples that, inhabit these lands,
Mm,
that have been the stewards of this land, have taught us so much about the food that we eat. And so that comes out in many forms for us, whether it be in
mm,
the tours where, we acknowledge the teachings throughout some of the foods that we'll sample, to the cooking classes where you're actually working with foraged forest, boreal forest product. For centuries, we were able to learn as settlers coming to this land from the Indigenous peoples that just really know what they're doing and how to do it. And
yeah,
so, we talk a lot about, recognizing and bringing it to the forefront, but I think it's a return too. I think it's important to acknowledge that it was never it was lost, like it was always
mm,
there, and we need to come back to it and recognize that there's so much that our Indigenous heritage has taught us.
yeah, yeah. And as you say, building it into your storytelling, particularly around, we obviously farm to table is such a big trend, but this is going way beyond just farm to table. This is going right back, isn't it?
I mean, look at the tradition of what's the one symbol that most people associate with Canada when it comes to food. It's right on our flag. It's the
Yep.
maple. It's maple products, and we'll teach you how to use maple sugar and not just maple syrup, and we'll tell you about the different products. But it's the acknowledgement that the Anishinaabe in our region were the first to do the tapping and appreciate that product, the sap that came from the maple tree, and transform it and use it. And it was medicine, it was food, it was tools, all of this things that we just kind of see as one other ingredient, but there's sacredness to some of the product. So it's really special to be able to incorporate and bring back the Indigenous heritage and view on food in the experiences that we do.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Now, Anthony Bourdain said that food is the fastest way to understand a place. And I don't think he was wrong, that's for sure. How do you see that sort of sentiment playing out in your work here in Ottawa?
Yeah, it's food is one, it's sustenance, something that, we have to do to survive. But the fastest way to get to know a place, I love that, because I'll paint the picture of just like one of the experiences that you'll have on one of my tours. And we're going to stop for this beautiful warm squash salad at one of our locations. And this is a salad that has some butternut squash that's roasted. It's got some maple toasted caramelized onions. It's got kale, some nice goat cheese, some toasted pumpkin seeds. And I'm making your mouth water on one side. But then I'm going to bring you to the place of why these elements are together and why we're eating them and why we're presenting the salad to you. So the squash and the maple syrup that the onions are cooked in are two of those teachings from our Indigenous culture and our Indigenous peoples that were of this land. The three sisters you might have heard of are three ingredients that are planted and harvested together, squash being one of them, corn, and then beans is the other. So this is what our terroir produced, and they kind of co-thrive when they're planted together, and that's why they're called the three sisters. So the land that's giving us this, is naturally, it's all around us. So we're gonna harvest this and put this in the salad. Now we've got cold winters, and we don't have fruits and vegetables that are going to last all throughout the year. So we have to preserve and cold storage some things. And kale is a fantastic vegetable that lasts into the cold season. So when there's a snowfall, you can still be harvesting kale.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
So all of this type of information is what we like to share with people, so you get an understanding of us and the people. And that's what I think food tourism does, is we're going underneath the layers, or if you want, peeling back the layers of the onion, getting to see the different multiple levels, and so that you understand us better.
Yeah. And you're talking about people's well-being, aren't you, I guess? When people leave your tours and go back home, that's going to have a lasting impression on their life in terms of how they live and the kind of foods and maybe seasonal produce that they want to eat, rather than just thinking about going and buying things from the supermarket.
Well, that's our hope anyways.
Sounds like you're definitely well on your way to changing people's lives, that's for sure. That's a pretty great thing to be doing. Now, thinking about some of the most joyful or surprising guest moments you've witnessed, and I did hear a funny story about someone who thought that beaver tails were actually real beaver tails. were certainly questioning whether it was a beaver tail before they ate it, which did make me laugh. A beaver tail is, to my understanding, a donut, right? It's a type of donut.
Correct.
Definitely
It is
not a
our
beaver tail.
iconic flattened donut. Yeah, flat dough, smothered in butter, cinnamon, and sugar. And yes, it's not a real beaver tail. But yes, we have frightened a few guests, and we like to kind of carry them along on that journey of not telling them that it's a pastry before we
I love it.
actually get to that experience. So yeah, that's been some fun things that we've done. But I think the other just the wows and the oohs and the ahs that we get out of people that will, whether it be a tour or a class, that will tell us, oh no, I don't eat that. I don't like mushrooms. I don't like this or whatever. And then we go, yeah, but try it like this. And when they understand that a certain way of cooking it, the certain way of presenting it, a certain way of combining it actually creates a different flavor or a different experience, and they go, oh,
yes,
now I like this.
Aha moment.
Those are fun. Those are fun for us. We really, really enjoy that.
I should send my mum on one of your tours. She has a massive aversion to garlic.
And so what we teach you in our classes is that you need to actually don't use a garlic press or smash your garlic before you remove the germ in the middle.
Okay.
That makes all the difference because for a lot of people, they can't digest it.
Yes,
and
right.
So when you remove that and then add your garlic in, there's a lot more people that have a pleasant garlic experience.
And it doesn't change the taste? Still the same?
Does not change the taste. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a great tip. That is a great tip. Oh, well, there you go. I will definitely be using that tip. Thank you for that. Thanks for that,
You're
Stefanie.
very welcome.
We'll be right back after this. Ready to discover Canada's warmth, wonder and wide open spaces? Connect with a local Canadian travel expert who can help you make your dream trip a reality. And if you're a travel professional, you can continue to enhance your destination knowledge through the Canada Specialist Program, which provides you with insider tips and exclusive tools. Find out more in this episode's show notes. That's brilliant. All right, now turning to the topic of leadership. And you served as the Chair of Ottawa Tourism. How did that role shape your perspective on the city as a destination?
Oh, yeah, that whole, and it's still ongoing. I'm current past chair of Ottawa Tourism, and so still involved, but it just made me more proud of the city, the destination in general. Really feel passionate about sharing this region. It gave me a perspective on the DNA of the region, of the city. Who is an Ottawan? What do we have to offer? Got exposed to so much more as far as our attractions, our activities, our accommodations. So that in one way was just a great eye-opener in terms of we have so much to offer. And anybody that comes to us saying, what's there to do around here? Be ready to be dumped on with lots of information. Because there is a lot to do. So that gave me that perspective. But I think in terms of the fact that this is a destination marketing organization, I really saw the value in how a DMO can be the steward for city building and for the local economy.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to see how this organization in particular and the work that Ottawa Tourism does to promote our destination is really they're very well respected and kind of the envy of some regions, but really have a forward thinking and forward planning perspective on what this destination should be for the visitor and the local. So we hear more and more terms around destination management more than destination marketing. And I think my time with Ottawa Tourism made me appreciate that more. There were some fantastic projects that I got to be a part of. One that I'm particularly, it's kind of near and dear to my heart was that Ottawa Tourism was the first DMO to actually partner with La Table des Chefs, which runs some food recovery programs
Mm,
kind of throughout various cities in the country. We're the first, Ottawa Tourism was the first DMO to actually partner. And so the program is called the à la carte program. And basically, food is collected from a variety of the hospitality industry partners. So collected, transformed into meals.
mm,
And this initiative started in 2024, in May of 24, so just over a year now, and over 160,000 meals have already
wow.
been generated through this program
Yeah, it's
in the 1
incredible.
year. It just gives me chills and goosebumps because obviously food is important for me and my
Mm,
business, but people facing food insecurity is
yeah.
so much a problem with many cities, many regions of the world. With a region as rich as ours, it shouldn't be.
Mm,
Food sure
mm,
is insecurity should not exist, but it does in our
yeah.
communities. And programs like the à la carte program just make my heart sing.
Yeah.
So that whole time, and there are many other projects Ottawa Tourism does and the city does well. The city does
Mm,
well with sustainable tourism. The city does
mm,
well with accessible tourism and continues to push those kind of limits and, break down barriers and welcome diversity. So there was just a lot of great feel good moments
mm,
in my role as board chair, but just in feel good in general to be part of this destination doing these things as
yeah.
well and sharing those stories with the world too.
Yeah, that's really lovely. It sounds like the program you mentioned has been really successful. Are you seeing that as aspiring to others? I mean, I guess I'm seeing a trend now, particularly across hospitality, where, of course, we're really looking at the amount of waste being produced and excess food, and it's going right through entire hospitality business, I guess, which is fantastic. Is that something that you're
Yeah.
seeing a big shift in Ottawa?
Yeah, 100%. And more and more people want to be part of the program and it
Mm,
inspires other cities and other regions
yeah,
as well. I mean, I know that Ottawa Tourism gets phone calls on a regular basis from other DMOs saying, "How do you do it? What have you done?" Like
yeah, brilliant.
those type of things. So it is brilliant. And it's the way that we should be doing things,
Yeah,
right?
we've got to
So
collaborate. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think there's ways, there's roads and other paths that are going to open up to continue,
Mm.
collaboration and connection that way. So it's pretty cool.
Fantastic. Ottawa is proudly bilingual, very multicultural place. How does that richness show up in your tours and the stories you share? And you've touched on some of this already, but I'm keen to know how much it plays out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, you're speaking to a Franco-Ontarian, so I'm a French-speaking Canadian that doesn't
Yes.
live in Quebec. Or I should say, even if I did live in Quebec, I'd still be a French Canadian. But I'm a Franco-Ontarian, and my business partner is Québécois, and so French for us is important. So all of our
Mm.
services are bilingual and will
Yep.
continue to be. It stems from our culture, but gladly and happily, Ottawa is a bilingual city, and services can be, had in both English and French. So my tour guides are both English and French speaking. We are a multicultural city, as we are a multicultural country, and specifically in Ottawa being a capital city. We have
Mm.
many influences from the embassies that put on cultural events and like just pockets and different pools of Chinatowns and little Italies and all of that type of thing that exists. But beyond that, we have cultural food festivals. The Lebanese, we're the highest concentration of Lebanese population and actually food services in North
Yeah.
America.
Okay.
There's over
Yep.
900 Lebanese food businesses in
Yeah. Wow.
Ottawa
Yeah.
alone. But
Right.
so that comes through in our tours by having this mixed bag of different
Mm.
cultures and experiences and kind of how they've incorporated and integrated into our community, but still keep that authentic experience of their cultures. It's something that Ottawans will always ask for is and want is the desire to have a taste of the traditional or the authentic.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's what comes through in our tours as well is for me, the Franco-Ontarian, you're going to hear me if I have a vendor or a business owner that we're going in to see at the cafe and they're French, I'm going to switch into French right away. Comment
Of
ça va?
course.
J'espère que ça va bien. Qu'est-ce que
Y-
tu as pour nous aujourd'hui? And whatever, even if I'm leading an English speaking group, that's just
Yeah.
part of our way of doing things. So we're often flipping into English and to French. But then I'm going to go and talk to Shahab, who's Bengali and
Mm.
runs this beautiful lunch counter for this beautiful tikka wrap sandwich that he does.
Huh.
And we're going to talk a whole other level of cultural engagement.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part. It's just there's so
Yeah.
much variety in what we're trying to help people experience.
Yeah. And I love that. As you said before, it's such a beautiful introduction to, different cuisines that perhaps people had never really considered or certainly knew the backstory to.
Exactly. We're often asked what is Canadian food? Like, what is a
Mm.
Canadian dish? And that's what led me actually to develop our Taste of Canada tour. So if you want to have a taste of all of the dishes that Canada has made famous, then you can take that tour. But if you just want the ByWard Market tour and just eat like a local,
Mm.
you'll get to the essence of all of these cultural influences that come into our food. And Canadian food is that. It's about diversity
Mm.
and just, when we go out and Ottawans go out to have a meal and enjoy a meal, it's very rare that you have a meal in just one place. You might grab an appetizer or a cocktail one place. You'll have your main dish, somewhere else, and then you can grab,
Yeah. Wow.
your
Okay.
dessert at
Yep.
a cafe or something. So that's the way we roll.
Love it. I love that. Yeah. What a beautiful idea. Yeah. That's not something that's a big deal in Australia. What a great way to
Yeah,
mix it up.
exactly. That's how the tours kind of started.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes complete sense. When travelers think of Canada, perhaps they're thinking firstly about Canada's incredible wilderness. They're thinking about the mountains, the lakes, the incredible wildlife. Perhaps food is maybe down the list for some people in terms of their, first priority when they think about a destination like Canada. How do you think food tourism helps broaden the story of Canada?
Yeah, that's a good one. It's funny because personally, when I travel, the first thing I do will be book a food tour on the first day that I get there.
Mm. Yep.
And that I will always encourage travelers to do that and agents to book a food tour for an experience because as we talked about that whole understanding of place, that becomes important. But yes, Canada is a vast country. We
Mm.
have beautiful nature, our wilderness and nature in general is just unmatched in many ways, and our cities are far apart, and it takes 5 days to get across the country, and it's
Mm.
5 time zones. It's large, it's beautiful, but what the food tourism does is it connects people.
Yeah.
Because when you take a meal and you get into the vibe of a restaurant, or you sit at a communal table, or you meet people, the food tourism is fundamentally a human activity.
Mm.
And I think it's that connecting that you will then get to appreciate that nature better.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think food tourism does that. It's about the connecting of humans, community, and just the whole appreciation just becomes better understood.
Yeah. I think that's a fantastic travel tip. It's announcing your arrival in a destination in many ways, isn't it? You are learning all about the fabric of the place you've just arrived, tapping into so many different cultures that you probably hadn't thought about. And as you say, connecting on a real soul level with your fellow travelers and, of course, where you are.
And, of course, you're getting good food. You're not going to get...
And, of course, the food is...
there's a
Absolutely.
good chance that they will have picked some great places for you to eat. So you get
Yeah.
your bearings and you
Yep.
know what you like and
Yep.
what you don't like. And then you get, then you feel confident about moving
Mm.
around the community.
Mm. Yeah.
So, it's just, I'm looking for my words in English because I'm thinking in French, but it feels more secure.
Yes. Yeah. 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 It would lead to a much deeper trip afterwards. You've got that initial foundation, and it gives you real understanding.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking about soul food, it's not just about filling our stomachs, but nourishing our spirit. And what does soul food mean to you? And how does it show up in what you do?
Yeah, that's a great term. I really, really love soul food. It really resonates with me. I think this because soul is that place between your heart and your head. It's
Mm.
it's you know it, it's very unique. It's what allows us to feel joy, feel understanding, learning. It finds it's where we find meaning and purpose, and in a multitude of things that are big and small. So I think soul in general, thinking on the word soul is an
Mm.
important one, and it's what helps us make deeper connections with
Mm.
other people, with the land and the surroundings, and with ourselves. And I think our tours are about soul food. I think our classes are about soul food because of those things. And I think that we've done our job when you can feel like those connections are made.
Yeah.
Actually, I know that we make those connections happen. So, yeah, I really resonate
Yeah.
with soul food.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think, when you could go to a restaurant and whether the food's been made with love, you can kind of tell. There's a big difference, I feel, which is, I guess, what separates good restaurants from not so good. But
I
I don't know what
agree.
it is. It's the way, yeah. It's hard to explain,
Yeah, I
hard to put
agree.
into words. It's a feeling.
Hard to put in the words. It's a feeling, but when you feel it, that it feels good. The
Mm,
feeling in the end is it feels good. It fills you. It makes you whole. And that's what we hope that our experiences do.
yeah. And that is the true meaning of of your business name, is it not? C'est bon? Is
It
it? It's
is.
good? Is that? Oh,
C'est
I
bon,
love it.
c'est bon. Yeah, it means it's good. And it means it's tasty, but it also means like it's an expression that we use to say I get it or I
Mm,
approve.
yep.
So it has different facets of what the words c'est bon means, but I think that's what we're
Mm.
trying to capture.
Maybe that should be the translation for soul food. The French translation
I
seems to
love
define
it.
it pretty well. All right, my last question. Now, this is a big question for you, Stefanie, I realise. But for our travellers out there, if someone could only try one bite, sip, or dish in Ottawa, the one that says, this is the heart of our city, what would it be?
My goodness. Yeah, that is a hard question. But I think probably you can't do Ottawa without a beaver tail. And
It's the
as plain as that sounds, it is not only iconic to Ottawa, but it is about a community. It's actually a rite of passage for us
Mm,
because this little pastry, which has been sold for more than 40 years in our community, is also tied into many, many traditions.
mm.
So, beaver tail after a night out, and in the ByWard Market, a beaver tail after you brought the kids to the museum, a beaver tail after you've been on a skate, or actually during a skate on the world's largest skateway in the winter on the Rideau Canal, when you can stop at a kiosk for your beaver tail mid skate. And in
Wow,
the
that sounds
dead of
great.
winter, when it's freezing cold, this warm pastry that warms you up, and that's your reward for being out there on the ice with thousands of people. So I think you can't do Ottawa without a beaver tail.
I must admit, I wasn't expecting you to say beaver tail initially. I am so in. I am so in for a beaver tail. It's
So
particularly
glad I
skating
could bring
down
that
the
to you.
frozen river. Oh, that just sounds incredible. Wow. Goodness. Well, thank you so much, Stefanie, for our lovely chat today. I've enjoyed it immensely. Yes, as we said at the start, I am incredibly hungry now. I just wish I was in Ottawa to sample some of these amazing amazing dishes and foods and flavours that you've mentioned. But we wish you all the best with your business. I know you're going to have plenty of Australians coming over to see you. So thank you so much again, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
It's been my pleasure, and I look forward to eating with you soon, Matt, and all of our Australian visitors who we love dearly. We look forward to serving you up some great dishes and some great stories.
Beautiful. You can reserve us a table right now. We'll be there very soon.
Done.
Thank you, Stefanie.
You're very welcome.
Stefanie's story reminds us that food is never just about taste, it's about connection. Through her work at C'est Bon, she shows how sharing a meal can open doors to culture, spark conversations, and create lasting bonds. As Anthony Bourdain often said, food is the fastest way to understand a place. And in many ways, what Stefanie offers is soul food, nourishment that goes beyond the plate, speaks to the spirit, and reveals the true heart of Canada. Thanks so much for listening today. And don't forget to check the show notes for useful links, downloads, and more information on today's episode. Whether you're a travel professional, a traveller, or simply a curious listener, you'll find all the resources you need to help you dive deeper into the hearts of Canada. Until next time, safe travels.
Karryon, together in travels.